Hey, God bless you, everybody. I'm not going to be before you too long, I don't think. But I want to talk to you about this season that you should expect in 2024. And the reason why I say season, because God didn't give it to me like this is what's going to happen in 2024, but we're in 2024. So obviously, these things are going to occur in 2024. I just don't want to be, you know, I just don't want to be making up stuff. But God is we're in 2024, and I saw these things in 2024. So this is what is going to be occurring in 2024. I hope that makes sense. So this is going to be a season of innovation. This is what God has shown me: innovation in many different areas, innovation in so many different fields. And God is going to be pouring this out upon His people, those who are have determination and strong will, meaning that you know this innovation is not just going to be like bloop, you get an innovation. You know what I mean? Like, God's just going to download something to you. You just wake up and then God's just going to download something to you. No, this is going to be because what you've done in years prior, how you've had strong will, determination, how you persevered, how you were adaptable to, situations that came your way. When God told you to move, you moved. When God told you to do things that seemed counterintuitive, you were obedient. And God is blessing that in this season. And this is the reason why we see my little friend, the coyote, on the screen. I saw him on January 2nd. Now, where I lived, it's not common. I have never in my well, almost 50 years, have never seen a coyote. And I saw him on January 2nd. And it was just such a blessing to me to see a coyote in my neck of the woods, where we don't generally see them. But when I saw him, I knew that the Lord was communicating something to me, because coyotes in our area, from what I'm hearing, they only come out at night. And so, you know, why was I allowed? I was in the middle of work. I just happened to go over to the window and saw him there. So, but anyway, I digress. The Lord is showing me that this is a season for those who have had strong will, was determined, and had the ability to adapt to change in situations, because that's what it means. If you were to see a coyote in your dream or during your waking life. And like I said, like I always say, when you're interpreting these symbols that God show you, you always have to be careful, because, if you look up the coyote, you're going to find all this different stuff, spirit animal and all this stuff. But you got to make sure that you are looking from a biblical perspective. So I'm not going to go too much into, what is a coyote, a compilation between, dogs and wolves and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into all that. That's something, if you want to, you can look up on your own. But yes, so God is going to be, it will be, as if you lay down and God just dropped something in your spirit and gave you the blueprint to innovate. But like I said, it's only because of your strong will and determination and your stick with itness to things that God has called you to be in. And so let me be more specific of the things that I saw in the areas of innovation. And it's not necessarily, it includes these things, but it's not limited to the things that I'm about to say. It's just the things that God showed me specifically. So the first thing that I saw is that there are going to be There's going to be innovation the in the Latino community in the terms of traditional food. Like there's a couple different. What I saw was a couple different Latino men who, and they're not together. They're all separate, and it's just going to be like a breakout where this Latino guy from the Northeast, this Latino guy from the Southwest, and somewhere else, or somebody in the Dominican Republic, somebody in Mexico. Like I just saw Latino. I don't know, exactly what specific nationality, but I just saw different Latino men who are going to kick up traditional foods with different seasoning blend. And this seasoning blends are going to take off so much so that either they're going to do a deal with the Sazon company, or they're going to surpass the company and have their own like seasoning line. And that's what God was showing me. It might be something that, these different particular people who have blend these things together before, and just among family and friends, people are like, wow, this traditional meal it is, wow, this really kicked it up a notch. And I specifically saw something about 3 beans. Don't know what that means, but it was like a seasoning packet and it was like 3 beans. I don't know. And then I saw somebody on a barbecue. So I don't know, but there's something that God is doing, that he's going to show that those people, maybe how the distribution part of it, maybe they already have the seasoning blend excuse me, together, but they don't know how to market it and how to get it out to the masses. So there's going to be something where God's going to either innovate on showing you how to distribute, or innovate in making the blend. So look for that. If you're Hispanic and you're into like cooking. Also in the realm excuse me guys, also in the realm of in the realm of culinary arts, there's going to be, I don't know what's going on with my voice. In the realm of culinary arts, there's going to be people who are going to, God is going to put it in their spirit, or an opportunity is going to open up for them where they're going to go back to get the degree that goes with the skill that they have in culinary arts. So there's certain areas that may not be open to you because you do not have the degree to back up your skill. And I don't know. I don't know what wouldn't be available to you if you don't have the degree, because I know there's like chefs and things that go all the way up to the top, like Rachel Ray. She never went to culinary art school, but yet she's on TV. But there's somebody out there, or a couple folks out there, because of what they want to do, they need the degree, and they're going to be going back to school, and God's going to open up that opportunity for you. And I know that God is not into debt, so there's going to be an opportunity for you to be able to go back, for whoever this is for y'all to go back to school and get that degree. So look for that. What else? He showed me that also in the era of innovation, that there's going to be innovations with plants. God's going to give his people innovation when it comes to planting. And I'm not talking about like frankenfood, like, I know God is not into that, but there's going to be innovation in, like I said, again, it could be the distribution part. It could be making the plants more nutrient dense. I don't know. I'm just, making up stuff. But what I saw was there's going to be innovation with plants and business. He's going to give you ideas to innovate. Also, there's going to be innovations with writing. God is going to, whatever book it is that you're writing, He's going to give you the layout for the book. I also saw innovations in financial structure. God was showing me financial structure, how to do more with less. And someone's getting the blueprint to write the book to benefit us all. So somebody's going to be able to crack the code, you know what I mean? Because there's been many, many, many books written, on finances. And I read a lot of these books, and it's like, okay, but that still is like, okay, that doesn't speak to my situation. You know what I'm saying? There's been some books that have helped, but God is gonna, and you almost think like, well, everything that's out there has already been written, but God has something for some folks in terms of the financial structure, breaking that code, and whoever writes this book is going to be able to benefit. It's going to benefit so many different people, and yeah, especially in this day and time when everything is just so unstable. Let's see. Then also what I saw was the innovation with adaptability equipment, or ability for the disabled. Innovations with technology to be able to help things become more, even in the area of cleanliness, meaning like different type of technology to help, clean the home more efficiently, or to streamline it or something like that. And it's going to be what I saw in the dream. It's going to be, somebody's going to be like, or people are going to be like, wow, how did you make this? This is like, did aliens give you this technology? And in the dream, it was like, how dare you say that? Like, this comes from God. You know what I mean? So when you guys get these downloads, you make sure you check people, and you give God the glory, and you say where you got the idea from. You got it from the Lord. Always give God the glory, and don't let anybody say that on, even if, in jest, correct them. Correct them. Don't let them say to some aliens that gave you the technology. All throughout the dream, God was not God, but all throughout the dream, it was like I'm like moving through the dream, but I'm like, oh man, I didn't call the job. It's 1:00 and I didn't call the job, and I said it's gonna be like a no call, no show, no call, and that's like an automatic being fired. Once they find out I didn't call in, I'm thinking to myself, well, I better call. And throughout the dream, I never did, because it was like, eh. And this is because the reason why that theme was going throughout the dream was because God is going to give His people the ability to innovate, because He doesn't want you to be dependent on the job. If things come down to the point where it's like you're fired, it's going to be like, well, ouch, but I'm making so much money from this other thing that I'm doing. So what? And that's where God wants to bring His people, because it's getting to the point where these jobs are going to start to try to get you to compromise on your values, and on it's just going to try to get you to conform. We're living in the last days where they call right wrong and wrong right. And, it's now to the point where some of these workspaces, you You just have to keep your mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? But it's getting to the point where keeping your mouth shut is not satisfying to the management. They want you not only to keep your mouth shut, but now it's getting to the point where they want you to start, say, teaching things that are against God, or teaching things that are against God's will, or supporting things that are against God biblically. And so you can insert any issue you want into that, but I'm not getting into specifics. But it's getting to the point where, we always talk about the mark of the beast, but it's getting to the point where they want you to denounce, that they want you to denounce the Lord. And when it comes to that, I hope that we would stand strong and be like, no, I ain't down with that. Or, I'm keeping my mouth shut, but for y'all to want me to go the extra mile and condone things, I can't do that. And it's not going to hurt so bad if you have your own business up and running, that you have your own business up and running so that you can be self-sufficient and you won't have to depend on these jobs. So that's just a long way of me saying that God doesn't want you dependent on this job, on just one job. And we should always have different income streams. We should always have that. You shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, if you ever heard that saying. So where was I? I told you about the plants. There's going to be innovation in plants. There's going to be innovation in writing and like self-help books. God's going to give somebody crack the code with a financial structure. That's the word I heard, the phrase I heard, financial structure. How you're going to make more, how to do more with less. And it's going to benefit everybody. And let's see, I told you about the culinary arts, and then I also told you about the innovations in disability and cleaning products and stuff like that. And always to give God the glory. And then lastly, y'all can take this however you want it, because I think it goes very deep. And I think my interpretation of it is just going to be surface level. And so in the background, no, I'm sorry. At the end of the dream, there was a little girl, and she was on the phone. I don't know if it was a play phone or a real phone, but a little bitty girl, and she was on the phone, and she's talking to somebody, and she says, "The world owes you a check." Now, when she said that, me and the other person that had innovated the adaptability equipment, when the girl said, "The world owes you a check," I just dropped down to my knees and put my hands out, raise my hands up like, like they do in church. And we just started praising the Lord. And on the surface, I believe this has to do with, because of your perseverance, like the coyote. I think it goes back to the coyote and being adaptable and just having that stick with itness. It's hard to have a 9 to 5, so to speak, and then come home and work on your business. You just kind of want to crash after that. And because of your perseverance, you're going to be receiving a check. But the deeper side of that, the world owes you a check. The deeper side of that, I do believe that goes into, I believe that goes back into the I think that goes back into history, to be honest with you. Historically speaking, how innovation has been stolen. I'm just going to pick somebody in history randomly. There was a man called Nikola Tesla, and I believe that's who the cars are named after, Tesla. He had all this innovation, and he basically, if y'all ever watched the what's that movie, one of those Avenger movies. I don't watch them no more because they don't went off the deep end, but anyway, one of the Avengers movies where they always talk about the Tesseract. It's this thing that has this energy source, and it could like just power the whole the whole world. It could power the whole world, and nobody would have to pay an energy bill, blah 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 blah. Well, there's this guy, and they make like little documentaries about him, and you can tell I'm a history nerd, but they make documentaries about him. Is this guy, they found his writings, and it's been rumored that he had this energy source that would have powered the whole entire world. But of course, if that was to happen, then people wouldn't make money. And then they said he was really the originator to invent, electricity, but it was stolen. All right. And then this is allegedly, of course, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they said that it was stolen. This is what, people are saying, that it was stolen. Who's the guy that invented it? Was it Alexander Graham Bell or something? I don't know. One of them. They, in the history books, say that they were the ones that invented electricity, but they're saying that his innovation was stolen. Now, how many times has this happened in history where innovation has been stolen? And so the world, when the little girl in the dream says the world owes you a check, and you guys can take this however you want to take it. I believe that in history, or even specifically to your family line, things, you don't just pop up and be like, people think that they just pop up and be like, I'll just use a preacher as an example. People think they just pop up and like, oh, I'm a preacher. But lo and behold, all the way down throughout your family line, you came from a long line of preachers. It's the same way with people who innovate. Lo and behold, you really came from a long line of innovators. Maybe it skipped a generation, or literally got beat out of it, like the generation before you. But generally, you come from a long line of creatives. You know what I'm saying? But it's been stolen, and so you never were able to really see the fruit of it. And so I believe that statement, the world owes you a check, that can go many different ways. But in the area of innovation, I believe God is saying that, because when God looks at you, he's not just looking at you, he's looking at your forefathers and your foremothers. He sees you, but he sees all those that were before you, and he sees all those generations after you. And he's saying that, your forefathers never got what they were supposed to get. And yes, a lot of their innovations were stolen. And so God is saying that this is a season where you're going to be blessed, because God's going to give you the innovation, but also you're going to be blessed on the fact that your forefathers and foremothers were never given the just due that they were supposed to get. And when God blesses you, it's never like 2 plus 2 never equals 4. God's math is so much different than our math that, 2 plus 2 is going to equal 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So it's like God is going to give you the blessing, but on top of that, you're going to be getting the blessing of those forefathers and foremothers that came before you. There's like something that, because of the season or the time period that they lived in, they couldn't get, they weren't able to receive the blessing, and that the blessing that they were going to get is going to fall on you. Because again, we think of ourselves like, oh, it's just me, here I am. But God is looking at us like he's looking at the generations beforehand. He doesn't forget. He follows that bloodline all the way down until, until he comes back. So, all right, well, guys, I think that's it. And I said I was going to be before you too long. Sorry that I lied. But also, I saw an amaryllis plant, and I saw it in water. And then generally, I'm more of a put the plant in some soil type person. But that's why it stuck out to me in the dream. I saw amaryllis, and it was in water, but it was like multiple ones. And I was, of course, growing them or whatever. But when I looked up the meaning of an amaryllis, it was just more confirmation. I didn't look up the meaning. I looked up the etymology of the word. So that's the study of words. Because like I said, you have to be careful when you look up things. You can't just look up what is the spiritual meaning of amaryllis. Because if you do that, like I said, you're going to get all this stuff that is just basically demonic. So I looked up the etymology, the study of the word, and that word means strong will, strength, and determination. So again, that's just more confirmation, and also saying that with the saying that the little girl said, the world owes you a check. You can also apply that strong will and determination to those that came before you, because if they didn't have strong will and determination to continue to innovate and do what they did, and basically barely see any fruit from it or get their inventions stolen, but yet they still kept going. And you know what is coming to mind? There's a movie that came out. I'm sorry, guys, I just keep going on, but it came to my mind. There was a movie that came out, I think this year or last year. I'm sorry, last year. And the movie was called Jingle Jangle. And I know the movie probably wasn't meant to be prophetic or anything like that, but in the movie, and if you didn't see the movie, I'm sorry to spoil it, but turn me off if you want to go see it. But in the movie Jingle Jangle, it was all about inventors. How this man, it was like a children's movie, but it was entertaining. It was this man that invented this thing. He made this innovation, and it was just like, wow, oh, ah. But somebody stole it, and the man went through years of like depression, and the other man that stole it became rich, and you know what I mean. But now, and you basically the guy that really invented it, he just goes down. He's depressed. He's, there's everything just goes dark in his life. And it's just confirmation that the Lord just brought that to my remembrance. There's really something that God is doing based on the fact that you yourself has strong will and determination. And then also those that came before you had strong will and determination to be able to go through everything that, your forefathers went through, and still get up and get on the grind and provide to the point where you're you are alive. If they just hung it up and just was like, forget it, I'm not even dealing with life, then you wouldn't be here. So you have generations and generations and generations of people who just had strong will, determination, and did not give up. But like I said, I've had so many, even just now with that movie coming to mind, so many confirmations that the Lord is saying that because you were pliable with Him, because you allowed yourself to be the pottery in His hands, that and you didn't just like, you know what, to be reshaped again, to be broken down and be reshaped all over again, and to not just like jump out of His hands and just say, you know what, God, I'm done. You know, I can't take this anymore. I can't take the place that you put me in right now. I'll quit. I'm doing my own thing. To be able to have the will and the determination and the adaptability to just go and let God have His way and not give up. God is saying that He is going to bless you. And this time, and I say this time because of the generations before, and this time when you get this innovation, you're going to be able to protect it, copyright it, to whatever it is that you need to do, to make sure that nobody don't steal it, because you're going to be leaning on the Holy Spirit and you're going to let the Holy Spirit guide you on how to do these things. Because you hear so many times before, people do things and the next thing you know, your idea is stolen, even in this day and time, especially in this day and time. So, all right. So I know that was long-winded, but I hope this word blesses you. And until we meet again.